Hey there, fellas. So here is my 1977 Briggs Ambassador, which I very conveniently call the BBT. And of course this is the Canadian version, so it just has BB on there. I got this toilet from a back alley in my my nearest hometown of Avonlea, Saskatchewan. Yeah, how about that? I even have the original labels on there. I basically found this when it was in that back alley. I think it was sitting there for probably the last 2 to 3 years. And I think it belonged to one of the houses there. And I don't know if you can see the manufacturing date on there, but it does say September 27th, 1977. I don't know if you can see it right now, but it is underneath the base somewhere. So inside, this I believe is an original fill valve. It is made by the Coast Foundry Manufacturing Company. It does leak like a sieve, however. This is still an original brass rod. The original float I broke, so I replaced it with this Mullen one. This flush tower is also original, and this refill tube. The flappers are a replacement because the old one was shot, and same with the shank washer that goes underneath it, which I had to modify for it to fit. And the bolts I also replaced. When I got this toilet, this is the handle it came with. It is not original. It looks like an American Standard handle, and it's pretty yellowed out if you ask me. And obviously this fill valve won't shut off, so it's definitely a bad one. So I guess it's set to the line of rust, and now there's probably gonna be water filling inside. So yeah, I don't know. And despite the appearances of it being somewhat mint on the outside, aside from all these scratches and I guess this crack now, while I was trying to restore it, my heart absolutely sank when I realized that the inside of the trapway there has a massive chunk of porcelain broke off of it. And in fact, this is that chunk right here. And it's a shame because that means I can no longer restore this toilet. I have the tank fully restored, but this bowl I can't restore anymore. As much as I've tried to fix it before, but I can't. I failed to do that, so I will not restore this toilet. So let's give it its first flush then, shall we? So it has a pretty awesome flush, and I guess it probably would have been even better if it weren't for that chunk of porcelain broken out. But that was its very first flush in like the last 2 to 3 years, I'm pretty sure. It's a pretty nice flush. It does have concealed siphon jets, so yeah. Here, now you can get a better view inside. So yeah, there's that massive hole inside like that, you know. So yeah. You do see what I mean though, this fill valve is leaking like a sieve. I did take it apart and try and clean those seals up, but I guess that hasn't worked. Oh, and by the way, I do have a new handle for this too, which does look quite a lot like the Briggs. And you know, I guess that American Standard handle doesn't match, so I tell you what, I'm gonna be right back and I'll have this handle installed. There, that looks way better now. And you can see that handle, that fill valve is just leaking like a sieve. And as a result of that massive hole in the bowl, this toilet is no longer installable. So, yeah. I guess try some tests on it maybe. So, starting with the washcloth. Well, I figured I'd probably have to plug that little hole in the bottom so it doesn't leak out and so it can flush. Anyway, so here's a washcloth. Took it no problem, which is pretty amazing considering the massive hole. I was thinking it'd probably get caught in there. Okay, so here is a grocery bag. I'll be right back. Okay, the tank is done filling. There's a grocery bag. Let's see how this does. Wow, it took it no problem at all. That's impressive. That's actually pretty impressive. Now let's try both this grocery bag and that washcloth together. Alright, so there's the washcloth and grocery bag right there. And the tank is done filling, so here we go. I guess the bag aired up. Aired up pretty good, actually. I want to see if I can get this down here. Or actually, no, it's probably not going to do that. It doesn't have a chance. Okay, well that was a fail. I should mention, however, that this toilet only has a partially glazed trapway. I think it's only up until about right here. That's when it doesn't have any more glaze. And I should have also mentioned in the video with the Galaxy that does not have a glazed trapway. That's why it failed so bad with the washcloth and grocery bag like that also. Failed harder than this, actually, if I'm being honest. So now let's try with this this dish towel. Honestly, I have a good feeling this might pass. It's a pretty big trapway, I guess. Or maybe not. Did that get caught in that big hole in there? Is that what happened? Is that what happened? Did that get caught in there? Huh. That's weird. Okay, it's hard in there, yep. I have a feeling it got caught inside that massive hole in the trapway because that is where it's stuck. And it's caught pretty deep in there. Yeah, I have to admit, my heart really did sink when I did find out about this chunk being broken out like that. And it's broke out, I guess you could say from the inside out, because it just basically fell out of there. You know? Yeah, my heart sank when I found that out. Let's get some more water into the bowl. Okay, that's about where the water line is for that. And yeah, that tank will probably be done in about a minute because that's how big this tank is, and that must be how slow the fill valve is. But we're going to try dirt anyway. I do think this thing's going to do a near perfect job with the bowl rinse and the clearance. Now let's see here. For the most part, what you might be seeing is just stuff that was here before I did restore. Okay, that was a speck there. I think there's lots of specks everywhere, but aside from that, it did really, really well. Even the bowl clearance is really good. You know, a couple of specks still, but not a big deal. It's still really good. It did a really good job. Good job, Briggs. You actually did an amazing toilet. Oh, and fun fact about this design here, this design of bowl, when Briggs made the Ambassador and then the slightly different prints, they made this all the way from as far back as probably in the mid-1940s, and all the way up until they discontinued them sometime in like the late 80s. And throughout that entire lifespan, the bowl design has been exactly the same. Tanks, yeah, the tanks have changed, so I guess there's different generations due to that, but the bowl design has remained the same ever since the 40s. You know? So you could even try and find one from like 1949, which is the oldest one that there is on YouTube as far as I'm aware. It's got the exact same bowl design and everything. OCC Plumbing and Restorations had a green 1955, and it was this exact same bowl design. Different tank though. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. Maybe give a comment if you want. I have to be honest, this toilet has done a pretty good job. But I guess it's going to have to be maybe a potting plant now. A pot, I guess, for plants. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this. Please like and subscribe. Maybe comment if you want to. I'll see you guys in the next video. That flapper has a tendency of getting stuck open, by the way. Anyways, see you later.